This meeting is now being recorded.
Good afternoon, Derby agents. Kevin Shady, Sherm Henderson here at Derby headquarters in Louisville, Kentucky. We've got the second week here of fall going on now in October, right? So we've got about a good month left in what I would consider the 2014 sales cycle, because once we start getting close to Thanksgiving, then we got Christmas and the holidays. We all know what happens during that time, and it's hard to get a whole lot accomplished. But what we can do is also start seeding things for 2015. And along those lines, not that I'm not saying we're not going to try and get sales this year. Of course, we're going to get them now. But we're looking at 2015 and making plans for that as well. And we got Scott Kent from Greenlight National. You know who he is. He's our LED and induction lighting solution partner. And he's got a tremendous opportunity exclusively for Derby Agency and our agents, and only, in all honesty, for just about a half a dozen of you. So we're going to see who really wants to participate and who really wants to get involved and have some opportunities. And Scott, I'm going to hand it over to you, and we're going to do one slide, guys, just one slide, and here's the opportunity.
Thanks, Kevin. So what our concept is with this opportunity is that we want to pick 6 agents that we want to ask a little of you, and we think we want to give a lot more back to those 6 agents. And the reason we want 6 is because what I want to do is I would like to provide to you, I believe the best way to be successful, and I'm going to guess that Kevin and Sherm would agree, not only with lighting, but any of the opportunities the agents have, is for the subject matter expert to come out, spend a little time with you, and really kind of hopefully transfer some of the knowledge that we have, but also to create a relationship, which is just as important to me in kind of the ongoing process of developing your own business around, and in this case, LED lighting. And so what I mean by that is spend a little time specifically is what we want to do is I want to come out, I want to visit with the agent, fly out to your particular market, and we'll do a dinner kind of night 1. I'll fly in on the afternoon, and then day 2, what we've asked is for you to leverage some couple of people within your network and set up a couple of audits on day 2, and we can talk about, after, if you have questions, what do I mean by audit, we can talk about what that is exactly. So on day 2, we're going to go through and actually audit some locations for their lighting, go through the entire process with you. I'll do it with you. I'll let you share in doing it, and we'll complete that process together from beginning to end. From looking at the physical location, gathering the information you need, and then entering that information in an application that we'll have available and ready starting November 1st. And I'm going to come back to the application in a minute. And so we'll use that application and go through that whole process, have the proposal ready, and best case scenario is to then propose the project right to the customer on that same day, or maybe perhaps the next day. And so you'll see all of the steps and understand it. And then, obviously, we'll spend that evening and maybe even a little follow-up the next day. And I think the key parts of that to me are, one, obviously, going through and doing that audit, but some of the times, whether it's over a meal or just over a cup of coffee, talking about what we went through, talking about what happened and how we did it and how I approached it, so that to me really will allow you, and you don't have to learn a great deal, but you just have to learn enough to be able to be comfortable to go out and talk about the product, gather the information you need, and then enter it properly and efficiently. Because when you can do that and understand the process, you're not going to get bogged down. And in my opinion, the biggest barrier to the success of selling this product is really understanding that process and being able to streamline it. Because when you can do that, then it really, I tell you, it does not take a lot of your time. It really doesn't. So whether you want to say, hey, I want to even do more of these, or whether you have other Derby products you're working on that's fine. And this will take a limited amount of your time if you do it right and you understand the key points you want to hit and you understand how to hit them and in what order. You can really do it in a quick way. And I think with Kevin and Sherm and Mike's help, I've certainly tried over these presentations, and I know they've tried to communicate, but my thinking around this was the best way to do this is not necessarily on a PowerPoint or even on this call, but is to come out and visit you. And so that's the commitment I wanted to make and say, look, I'll come out and I'm going to obviously take care of all that expense and going and doing that. And the commitment I have back is, obviously on the onset of it to set up those calls, but then also to make a commitment to continue to do that. And what we're asking is for one audit a month, which really is nothing. I just completed one myself. It took me 45 minutes. One audit a month. And the reason for that is not to try to give you something, hey, we need this, but is to get a commitment to stay engaged. Because I think when you stay engaged, that again is another key. If you have an understanding, a very simple understanding of the product, and then the process and the steps to take to be successful in the sales, and then to stay engaged with it. And even again, if you have other Derby projects you're working on that are your bread and butter, that's fine. When you find some time, you can use that time efficiently after, and in a committed way, although, and I'm not asking and not suggesting that there's a lot. So, that's kind of the concept of what we want to do. And in terms of, to give you some more color, we do have a couple of Derby agents that have had some success. And I can tell you that Greenlight generally, Kevin, we're kicking around some numbers on the phone this morning, and I just threw out, I bet we could do $1 million within Derby next year. Kevin said, well, I don't know if that's realistic. Step back, and I even thought initially, and he said that, like, gee, that does seem like a huge number. And then I stopped and said, so wait a minute. That is very realistic across Derby. And in fact, we could do better. And the reason I say that is just yesterday, Greenlight, my company, we took a $485,000 LED light order in Columbus, Ohio, a building in Columbus, Ohio that's totally retrofitted. $485,000. So these deals are out there. There are, and the market penetration right now, if it's 20%, if it's that high, I'd be shocked. So the opportunities out there, the deals are out there, and these customers, these relationships that you have, these people are going to be purchasing LEDs 100% in the next, I'll tell you, 100% they're buying them. Just as you have a cell phone today, there are people that would have said 10 years ago, well, I don't need a cell phone. These people are buying LEDs, happening, no matter who they're buying them from. And so with that commitment and a little learning about the process and understanding who to go after and when, you can be that person. And there is no reason you can't be doing that kind of volume for me. And so at any time I don't see the results we should get, the first place I look is a mirror. And I said, well, what can I do? And that's how we came up with this program. And, with Kevin's help and feedback and what we're offering up today. So I think, Kevin, please jump in and tell me if you have the other thoughts you want to share, but I think that kind of gives it to you kind of at a hello.
Yeah, I think you did a great job. One thing that I would add, if you could, and you're kind of breaking up a little bit on us, so I know your cell phone's in a certain range, but you get a good spot, you might want to pull over.
Sure.
Can you tell us about the lead generation? One of the bullet items in there is the lead generation in the local area via telemarketing, agents to find targets, and will contact prospects provided. How does that part of the support program work?
Yeah, thanks. And really, and as you mentioned it, there are 2 points. There are that, and then I even said it. I want to talk a little bit about the tool that we're on. First, the lead generation. What we want to do is we got actually those years of experience in doing this. And so what we want to do is, let's say there's an agent in Memphis, Tennessee, and Memphis. So my visit out there is we're going to sit down and okay, let's talk about knowledge of Memphis. Let's talk about know around the business environment, commercial environment, where are your contacts located? Where do you think it makes sense? And I'll chime in on that, obviously, and we'll together with both our experience levels, your being local, mine being just around LED, we'll come up with a target. And that target will be a vertical or verticals. So, for example, warehouse, office, retail, whatever vertical we choose, and then we'll come up with zip codes and say, okay, we're going to pick businesses in that vertical and those zip codes, and we have a telemarketing company where we work with
Scott, we are losing you. I'm not sure where you are. If you're in Alligator Alley going between Miami and Tampa, or Miami and Naples, or what, but we are not getting a good signal from you. So
I'm sorry. How is that now?
That's better right there.
Yeah, I'll pull over here. I'm sorry. I'm not sure what I got. So what I was saying was that we'll target those zip codes and those particular market verticals. We'll call it. And so the agent will get a set for them. In an automated fashion where you can coordinate with your calendar, and so that's kind of the thought there.
Okay. Again, it is really difficult to hear you right now. So I think everyone's got the point and understands the message. Guys, this is a fairly limited offer that Scott is putting out there on the table. You see that right off the bat. We're limiting this to only 6 Derby agents. So I need to know if this is something that you want to get involved in, and if you want to get engaged with Scott and with LED lights. One thing I'll throw out as well, and I've asked for and talked to several folks here in town and got some proposals out just myself. It's not hard. When he says you do an audit, let me tell you what you do in an audit. And he'll show you some more tricks and trades and stuff. But all you're really doing is walking the facility, and looking up and counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not hard. It's the only time-consuming piece of it is how long it takes you to walk the building. So a 45-minute audit that Scott said he had there today must be a pretty good-sized building or several floors. So it's not hard. It's very simple, and then he'll do all the heavy lifting thereafter. He's got a group that we've partnered with to do all of the installations. So you'll have a consistent approach in terms of having the lights installed for your customers. And I know we've already got a couple of folks that have sold some LED solutions with Scott. One in particular, Dwayne Johnson in Charleston, Ashland area, and Ashland. And he's got a car dealership there that he's already getting ready to close. That's a $250,000 opportunity. So when Scott says that, we can do $1 million, yeah, I absolutely agree with that. What we need to do, though, is just get him the opportunity so that he can do that. One car dealership, and it was just it's just a normal-sized car dealership. It's not the largest in the world, and it's not the smallest in the state either. But one car dealership was worth about $250,000 in LED lights, and it was a 2 to 3 year turnaround time. So the ROI is impressive. The customer is intrigued enough to move forward with some testing and to see what the difference in lights are going to look like. And he's moving forward with it. That's $250,000, and you guys get 15% commission on that. I know it used to be 10% with our former program, but I want you all to understand that Scott's paying 15%. That's to you, 15% to the agent. So, if you were to do $1 million, let's say you did a half a dozen opportunities that add up to $1 million, you're talking about $150,000, guys. That's not very many opportunities you need to get there. How many other companies, how many other opportunities do you have where you could bring in 4, 6, 8 deals and make $150K? If there are that many out there, show them to me, because I'd love to see them. So I think he's putting a great opportunity there on the table for you. I hope you'll take advantage of it. And again, if you do want to be included in this program, you need to email me or call me, and I will get you signed up for it. But we are going to stop it at 6. So that's the program. That's what we're looking to do. Scott, are you there?
I am, and I apologize. I was actually having a phone issue, not the cell issue. I don't know. It just locked up on me. So is this better, I hope?
Yeah, that sounds a lot better.
Great, yeah. Sorry about that.
So what else would you add to what I just said?
Well, yeah, and I agree with you, and I think the last piece that I wanted to touch on was, about our tool. To me, and I think, Kevin, you were hitting on the return, right? On the return side, the upside, the opportunity, and that's obviously a key to anything. That's the first thing you want to look at. But the second thing you want to look at, in my view, is how much time and energy am I going to have to put into this? And we are certainly asking that you put something into it, but at the same time, one of the things we have coming out, and it'll be out by November 1st, is a tool to use to conduct these audits that will totally automate it. Will be an app on your iPad. You'll pull up, you'll enter everything, you'll push a button, and you'll have a proposal right then and there. It'll be dummy proof. We'll set it up for you individually, and that we'll make it's very simple and easy to use. And in other words, you go in, you say light, you see a certain light, you push that button, and then there'll be an LED replacement. You push it might give you one choice, and we'll train you on that, and you push that, and then it gives you the price, and you do that through the entire process, which, again, Kevin's point was typically less than 45 minutes. Push a button at the end. You now have a proposal that can get emailed right to your customer. You can print it out or both. And it's in our system, so there's not a bunch of paperwork you got to send up or track down, or did you get this, did you get that? Everything is in our database and ready to go. You get the deal. We push another button, and we're starting the whole process moving and getting the deal delivered and getting you paid. So, we've really been working behind the scenes as well on streamlining, and we've been doing that because, we as a company, and I'll share this right now. So Greenlight did $3 million in 2013. We're going to do $7 million in 2014 in revenue. And so that's the kind of growth we're seeing. And again, going back, that I know, with knowing Sherm, Mike, and Kevin, that and the capable Derby agents that I've worked with, that this is something that we know is out there, is working, and it's just a matter of getting a commitment from both sides, and myself included. So and getting in there and saying, look, let's get some success going. I know it's out there. I'm doing it every day, and so and we've streamlined along. In terms of that growth, we've had to, because we've had this growth. Like we need to get more streamlined ourselves, not doing spreadsheets and faxes and whatever, but a real process, and we've got that in place.
Okay, so let me do this for those folks, those agents that are on this call and they're on audio only, so they can't see the slide with the details. I'm going to read it real quick, just so that you're clear as to what Scott has on the table, and some of you came in midstream as well. So we're limiting this to 6 Derby agents. Greenlight is going to provide an online audit and presentation tool that you can use on your iPad. That will be available by the 1st of November. Also, Scott will be doing a 1.5 day on-location training. And the idea is that Scott will visit the agent, fly in day 1 in the afternoon, spend the evening, take you out to dinner, really strategize as to what the opportunities are, and then the next day go on some calls, and then leave day 3 after doing the training with you and walking you through on how to actually do an audit and what's all involved and really what's not involved, so that you understand from a time perspective you're not looking at a lot of time out of your busy selling day. Third, a lead generation capabilities in the local area via telemarketing, and that will be you and Scott working together to define the targets, maybe the market segment, what type of contacts you want to try and prospect, and he will do the telemarketing along with Derby, where we're both pitching in on this, guys, to get you the leads So all you got to do is, we'll get you the appointments. All you got to do is go count the bulbs. Okay? All you got to do is go count the bulbs. Not a whole lot of work here. And then a full proposal generation through the audit tool that you can use to support a presentation of the final proposal to the client. All we're asking you to do is just commit to the program and provide at least 3 audit appointments for that initial training visit, and then do 1 proposal a month. That's it. And again, you can bring in a lot of money this way, and it's it's a good way to fund some programs that you got going on yourself. It's a good way to get some cash into your agency. The installation of this is not the most difficult, and we've got a partner that's going to be doing that for Scott as well throughout the country. So you'll have some consistency in what's getting approached. So that's the deal. That's the offer. That's the opportunity. I told everyone this was going to be a 10 to 15-minute call, and we've gone 20 minutes. So does anyone have any questions? Sherm, you got any questions?
Tell the folks how much you have been selling in the last month, Scott. I think that's important.
Personally, or the business overall?
The business overall.
Well, I think I mentioned. So literally yesterday, we got a deposit on a $485,000 order. So I would say we have done. And matter of fact, my other partner in Chicago thinks he's got an $800,000 order. I don't think he's got a signed PO. He doesn't have the money yet. And so that has been in the last month. So there's $1.2 million that Greenlight's done in the last month. And, I like to think I've done pretty well, which is about 100,000. but it feels small compared to those guys. But, it's the opportunity, the market is there. Like many other of these technology products, if you look at flat screen TVs, cell phones, MP3s, it's very flat at the beginning as it gets introduced and the curve starts to pick up. And I'm really sensing that curve doing that, where, now is the time. Now is the time to have these conversations. The market's still very large in terms of the opportunity, but it's starting to turn because as more people do it, their friends do it, so you jump on and you're going to geometrically grow. And that's what's happening.
Scott, one of the questions that I received through the chat text here is, what about from a competitive perspective? Because they're seeing more and more of the Home Depots and those folks, Lowe's, come out with LED bulbs themselves, and that the market can just go buy them themselves and install them.
Well, first of all, that's correct. So you could go, it depends what type of business you're going after, because it would be a different response to that objection, in effect, depending upon the business. However, to generally state it, our pricing is going to be about 20% lower than you're going to get at Home Depot, number one. Number two, in addition to that pricing, a better price point, in addition to that, they don't know what they want. In other words, they don't know what Kelvin they need. They don't know what wattage they need. They don't know what type of bulb they need necessarily. So like anything else, if somebody wants to spend and make it their full-time job to figure out their lighting, they could do that. You could absolutely do that. If they want to work in their business and run it, and we can do it at a price that's going to be cheaper than they pay, plus not cost them any time, because we're going to take care of it, be responsible for it, and we're going to be there until it's in, they're happy, and they say, great, have a nice day. So that's the answer I give to that yeah, they could walk in Home Depot. And by the way, Home Depot, I guess a third point, Home Depot or any other store you get is not going to have many of the niche bulbs. For the most part, they're not going to have any tubes, which are a big part of what we do, which are the fluorescent tube replacements. They don't do that yet. They do have so it's more of a residential type angle. Now, there are some residential type bulbs in commercial environments if you have spots out in the hallways or if some other applications, but those are really more residentially based. So anytime a commercial location goes out, they're never going to get everything they want at Home Depot anyway. And it's dealing with Home Depot, which is, I want to order more of these. Can you order them in? And whatever else they'd have to do to make that happen.
Yeah, that's a good point, especially on the on replacing of the LED tubes versus the fluorescent tubes.
Right.
Okay, we got any other questions out there? All right, Scott, I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to the response from the Derby agents and see what we can't do to drive some revenues together and to really focus on those half a dozen that are fortunate enough to get in this program and move forward with you. Like I told everyone at the beginning of the call and those that I've reached out to this morning to attend, we're keeping it short, we're keeping it sweet, and we're going to get on with it with these calls from now on and not drag them on for 45, 50 minutes or an hour or more. So with that, I appreciate it. Everyone take your time and get back to me as soon as you can, and I look forward to talking to you guys next week. See y'all.
Thanks, guys. Bye.